In the small mountain town of Bridger Peak, Colorado, Caleb "Cal" O'Connell, a 38-year-old wildland firefighter, lived a quiet life with Finn, his 8-year-old Border Collie. Finn was more than just a pet. He was the silent partner who had seen Cal through a bitter divorce, the death of his mother, and the sleepless nights that followed a rescue mission gone wrong, a wildfire that had left scars deeper than any burn. In the wordless communion between them, Finn's intelligent, dark eyes seemed to understand Cal's pain, offering a steady presence that anchored his soul. Theirs was a bond that went beyond owner and pet. It was a soul-deep connection. The tragedy struck without warning. One spring morning, Finn, who usually greeted the prospect of breakfast with frantic energy, remained curled in his bed. His eyes, normally bright with life, were dull. He refused both food and water. When Cal knelt beside him, Finn could barely lift his head, his tail giving only the slightest thump against the floor. The vibrant dog was gone, replaced by a shadow. "It's okay, buddy, we'll get you to the doc," Cal whispered, his voice trembling as he stroked Finn's coarse fur. The 20-minute drive to the Bridger Peak Animal Hospital stretched into an eternity. In the passenger seat, Finn's breathing grew shallower, his once powerful body seeming to shrink. Each small bump in the road drew a soft whimper from Finn, a sound that felt like a knife twisting in Cal's chest. Dr. Anya Sharma was a veteran vet who had known Finn since he was a puppy. The moment she saw him, her usual bright smile vanished, replaced by a look of grave concern. After a series of examinations and an emergency blood panel, she called Cal into her office. "Cal, I am so sorry," she began quietly. "Finn is in acute renal failure. His blood work shows toxin levels that are incompatible with life. Is there any chance he ate something unusual recently? Grapes? Certain plants?" Cal shook his head, his mind reeling in disbelief. Just 3 days ago, they had hiked their usual 5-mile loop on the Riverdale Trail. How could things have changed so drastically? "There's more," Dr. Sharma continued, choosing her words carefully. "The ultrasound revealed multiple tumors throughout his abdomen. They're extremely aggressive, and they're what's causing the organ failure." Cal's world shattered. "What can we do? Surgery? Dialysis? Money is no object. I'll do anything," he pleaded, his voice cracking. Dr. Sharma placed a gentle hand on Cal's trembling arm. "Cal, even if we could stabilize him temporarily, the cancer is too widespread. He's in a significant amount of pain right now, and it's only going to get worse. The kindest choice." "No," Cal choked out, cutting her off. "Not yet. I can't say goodbye yet. I just need a little more time." Outside, dark clouds gathered, as if mourning the tragedy to come. Dr. Sharma administered pain medication and IV fluids to make Finn comfortable for a few hours. But her somber expression offered no hope. She told Cal that Finn likely wouldn't last 24 hours, and his suffering would only increase with each passing moment. Back in the exam room, Cal slid to the floor beside Finn's bed and gently stroked the graying fur on his snout. The sterile sounds of the hospital faded into the background, leaving only the sound of Finn's labored breathing. A flood of 8 years' worth of memories rushed over him. Finn as a clumsy puppy with ears too big for his head. Finn staying awake with him through the night after a bad fire. Finn resting his head on Cal's lap when the grief of his mother's death felt unbearable. "You were always there," Cal whispered through tears. "You never left me alone. I'm not going to leave you alone now." Dr. Sharma allowed Cal to use the hospital's private garden, a small courtyard created for these exact moments of farewell. Cal spread Finn's favorite blue blanket under a maple tree and gently laid him down. Despite the heavy painkillers, Finn let out a small whimper. Messages from his crew at the firehouse started pouring in. Finn had been their unofficial mascot for years. Fire Chief Miller said the whole crew wanted to come say goodbye. But Cal couldn't bring himself to share this sacred time with anyone. As dusk settled, the clouds overhead began to release a quiet rain, as if nature itself was weeping for Finn. Cal never left his side, whispering stories of their adventures together. "Remember that time we found that missing hiker during the thunderstorm?" Cal said, his voice thick with emotion. "No one thought she was alive. But you never gave up. You saved so many lives. Finn, you saved mine." Then, an unbelievable moment, as if responding to Cal's trembling voice. Something incredible happened. Finn, who had been lying still, managed to lift his head slightly. His pain-clouded eyes found Cal's, and as if summoning a final ounce of strength, he began to move his body. The night staff at Bridger Peak Animal Hospital had never seen such devotion. Cal spent the entire night on the floor next to Finn's bed. Dr. Sharma waived the visiting hour restrictions, respecting the special bond the two shared. But despite the fluids and medication, Finn's condition continued to decline. By morning, he could no longer lift his head, his breaths becoming shallower and more difficult. When Dr. Sharma appeared for her morning rounds, her expression confirmed what Cal already knew in his heart. It was time. The cancer was consuming Finn's body, and his suffering was increasing. With a heavy heart, Cal nodded. Let us use the garden room. Finn always loved being outside. The garden room was a special place at the hospital, with large windows overlooking the courtyard of flowers and fountains. A private space for families to say their final goodbyes. 2 veterinary techs gently carried Finn into the room, placing him on a soft blanket where the morning sun streamed in. Outside, birds chirped and the leaves of the maple tree rustled in the breeze, the simple beauty of nature that Finn always stopped to appreciate on their walks. Dr. Sharma explained the procedure gently. First, a sedative to relax Finn and guide him into a peaceful sleep. Followed by the final medication. Take all the time you need, she said softly, placing the syringe with the sedative on a small table. Let me know when you're ready. Cal knelt beside Finn, running his fingers through the thick fur of his ruff. Finn's pain-filled eyes were still fixed on Cal's face, reflecting 8 years of love and trust. You were the best friend I ever had. Cal choked out. I don't know how to say goodbye to you. I don't know how I'll go home tonight and not have you there. And then, the unbelievable happened again. Finn, as if mustering every last spark of life he possessed, lifted his head. It was a clear effort, pained but determined. Before Cal could react, Finn pushed himself up and wrapped his front paws around Cal's shoulders, clinging to him in a posture that looked impossibly like a human embrace. Everyone in the room held their breath. The vet techs were frozen, staring at the sight. This was no mere reflex or muscle spasm. It was a deliberate, gentle act, filled with an affection that words could never capture. For nearly 30 seconds, Finn held that position, his paws on Cal's shoulders, his snout pressed into Cal's neck, feeling the man's tears soak into his fur. In 20 years as a veterinarian, I've never seen anything like it, Dr. Sharma whispered to her assistant, quietly wiping a tear from her own eye. The moment was too sacred to interrupt. When Finn finally collapsed back onto the blanket, his breathing was even more ragged. It was clear the effort had cost him all his remaining strength. With a trembling hand, Cal nodded to Dr. Sharma. It's time, he managed to say. I don't want him to suffer anymore. Dr. Sharma approached quietly with the sedative. This will just help him relax. Buddy, she explained gently, it will feel like falling asleep. Cal held Finn's head in his lap, stroking behind his ears the way he loved, whispering words of comfort. As the sedative took effect, the tension slowly left Finn's body, and his breathing deepened. Still, his eyes remained locked on Cal's face. I'm giving the final medication now, Dr. Sharma explained quietly. He won't feel any pain or discomfort. Outside the window, the spring sun broke through the clouds, casting a warm light into the room. A blue jay landed for a moment on the windowsill before flying away. Cal would wonder about that small detail later, but in that instant, his entire universe was focused on the friend who was peacefully slipping away in his lap. Then came the moment of the miracle. Just as Dr. Sharma prepared the final injection, the drug that would stop Finn's heart and end his suffering, something impossible happened. Finn's left ear twitched. Then, as if by a miracle, his eyes opened. They weren't hazy or unfocused from the sedative, they were startlingly clear. Before anyone could react, Finn let out a single, distinct bark, a sound far too strong for a body that should have been shutting down under a powerful sedative. The room fell silent. All eyes were on Finn. The dose of sedative he had been given was more than enough for a dog his size. Consciousness should have been impossible. Yet, Finn was now lifting his head, looking around as if taking in his surroundings. Dr. Sharma stood frozen, the final syringe in her hand, her medical knowledge clashing with the scene before her. This shouldn't be possible, she muttered, setting the syringe down and pressing her stethoscope to Finn's chest. Her eyes widened. His heart rate is stabilizing. No, it's getting stronger. Cal held his breath, watching as Dr. Sharma checked Finn's gums and reflexes. Finn's eyes tracked her movements with a clarity that was unthinkable for an animal that was supposed to be in a state of deep sedation. We need to run more tests, Dr. Sharma said, her voice a mix of confusion and professionalism. Cal, this is unprecedented. The next few hours were a whirlwind of blood tests, ultrasounds, and vital checks. The somber mood of the morning had been replaced by an atmosphere of focused, electric astonishment. Incredibly, Finn's condition improved with each passing hour, as if he were walking back from the edge of death. Late that afternoon, Dr. Sharma called Cal into her office. Her expression was a complex mix of confusion, excitement, and scientific caution. On her desk were Finn's latest test results, laid out next to the scans from that morning. "I've consulted with 3 colleagues, including an oncologist," she said, sliding the ultrasound images toward Cal. "The tumors we confirmed yesterday, they're shrinking. It's not just that the inflammation has gone down, they are physically smaller. And his kidney function, while not perfect, is improving." Cal stared at the images, trying to process her words. "What does this mean? Is he going to be okay?" Dr. Sharma took off her glasses and rubbed the bridge of her nose. "Cal, I have been a vet for 18 years. I have never seen anything like this. Medically, I cannot explain what is happening. There's a chance of misdiagnosis. But even that wouldn't fully account for this dramatic reversal." She leaned forward slightly, lowering her voice. "Some of my staff are calling it a miracle. I'm not one to use words like that, but I can't find a scientific way to explain it." Over the next week, Finn's condition continued to improve in a way that defied medical explanation. The tumors shrank daily, his kidney function slowly returned to normal, and his energy began to come back. Dr. Sharma documented everything, certain that Finn's case would be studied by veterinarians across the country. The news of Finn's miraculous recovery spread through Bridger Peak. The local paper ran a front-page story with the headline, "The Healing Hug, Bridger Peak's Miracle Dog," featuring a photo of Cal and Finn sitting together in the hospital garden. 10 days after the miracle, Dr. Sharma cleared Finn to go home. He still needed medication and regular checkups, but he walked out of the hospital on his own 4 feet, something that had been unimaginable just days before. "We still don't have a scientific explanation," Dr. Sharma admitted as she handed Cal a detailed care plan. "Oncologists are calling it a case of spontaneous remission on an unprecedented scale. But even that doesn't fully explain the phenomenon. Something happened in that moment, when he held on to you. Something beyond our understanding." Cal's firehouse crew had prepared a surprise welcome home party. His small backyard was decorated. A special orthopedic bed sat on the porch, and a hand-painted banner read, "Welcome home, Miracle Finn." Chief Miller presented Finn with a custom-made fire department bandana, officially reinstating him as the station's mascot. "I was never the type to believe in supernatural stories," the chief said quietly to Cal, watching as Finn was gently petted by the crew. "But this thing with Finn, it makes you wonder if there isn't something bigger at play. The bond you two have is something special." That night, for the first time in 2 weeks, Cal slept in his own bed. Finn was curled up in his usual spot at the foot of it. He was thinner, and his movements were still careful, but his presence made the house feel whole again. As he drifted off to sleep, Cal thought about the mysterious force that had given him this second chance. Was it love, an unknown biological mechanism, or was it truly something divine? 6 months later, on a crisp autumn day, Cal and Finn stood at the summit of Eagle Ridge Trail, their favorite spot they had visited countless times before the illness. The road to recovery hadn't been easy. There were days when Finn's energy flagged, nights when the pain returned, and one terrifying week when his kidney values temporarily worsened. But through it all, their bond had only deepened, forged anew in the crucible of near loss. Finn was a different dog from the one who had been at death's door that spring. His coat had regained its sheen, his eyes were bright again, and only the small, shaved patches from IVs and tests were a reminder of his journey. At 8.5, he was showing signs of age, a little stiffness after long naps, a touch of white around his muzzle, but he was vibrantly alive. Dr. Sharma continued to monitor Finn closely, and his case study became a topic of intense interest among veterinarians. Theories were proposed: a freak autoimmune response, a unique reaction to the combination of drugs he was given, but none could fully explain the dramatic turnaround that occurred at the exact moment he embraced Cal. A moment witnessed by 4 medical professionals. Standing on the mountain overlook, Cal watched Finn explore the familiar terrain, his nose twitching as he took in the scent of wildlife. The simple joy of his dog engaging with the world filled Cal with a profound sense of gratitude. "I still wake up in the middle of the night sometimes, just to make sure you're really there," Cal confessed, running his hand through Finn's fur. "Whatever that miracle was, I'm just thankful for every single moment we have together like this." Finn leaned against Cal's legs, a gesture that held a universe of meaning given the journey they had shared. Coincidence or cosmic intervention, their story had touched countless hearts far beyond their small town, a reminder of the mysterious power of the bond between humans and animals. As they started down the trail, the setting sun cast long shadows through the trees. Cal had once been a pragmatist, skeptical of anything that couldn't be explained, but Finn's miracle had fundamentally changed his understanding of the world. He now believed that some bonds are strong enough to change fate itself. Strong enough to create a miracle.